I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. It's time for me to reveal the results of my latest round of Fatshark receiver module testing. That's where I take a whole bunch of Fatshark receiver modules and goggles like RapidFire, LaForge, Trudy, Skzyone, Aomway Commander. I take them all out. In this case, I took them to a parking garage so I could get lots of multipath, and I fly them around head to head, record the results, and let you vote on which one you think won. And it's time for you to learn which one you thought won, because you didn't know which one you were voting on, did you? That's the whole point of the blind testing. Get all that bias and prejudice out of there and just let you see which one you think is best. Now, I actually already revealed the results of these testing on Monday night on my Quad Camp online live stream over on twitch.tv/quad_camp. And I meant to do it on my YouTube channel, but I didn't have anything to do for the live stream, and I kind of didn't want to make you guys wait till the weekend to stream it. So here it is. Don't worry, I've cut out all the live stream talky stuff to get right to the results. But if you really don't want to wait, you can go check the video description. There is a table of contents down in the video description with timestamps for each individual test. And on top of that, at the end of the video, there's just a wrap up where I reveal all the results. But I do encourage you to watch as much of this as you can, because there's some explanations for why some of the results came out the way they did. And some of the results were a little unexpected. RapidFire didn't win every test. In fact, maybe I'll tell you who beat RapidFire. It was LaForge and Achilles beat RapidFire in this test. OMG, can you believe it? Well, now you have to watch the whole thing, right? Enjoy. Now, let's talk about the technical issues, okay? And one of the technical issues was that if you look right here, as I said, there was a big color difference between the two GoPros. And the catch is that I crashed and I broke my Hero 6. I had two Hero 6s that I bought a second Hero 6 just for this testing so I could have two identical cameras, and I crashed and broke one of them the week before I did this testing. So I used one GoPro Hero 7 and one Hero 6, and here's what I learned, and I confirmed this like 2 days ago. This is why the results have been held up. The color balance on the Hero 6 and 7 is not the same. I set both of them to the exact same color balance, whatever, 3500 Kelvin, and I held them right up next to each other. They did not look remotely the same. So I can confirm that when you look at these two results, because when I saw this, I was like, and of course I didn't see this until I got back and was looking at the results, all right? When I saw this, I was like, holy crap, is it the module that's doing it? Did I have the settings on the GoPro not the same by accident? No. I can absolutely confirm I set a GoPro Hero 6 and a Hero 7 to the exact same settings in every way, and the Hero 7 had a bluer and the Hero 6 had a sort of a redder color balance. So that's why this difference is here. And we have to acknowledge that. Here's the reason that I feel compelled to call this out. As I was looking at these results, I have to say, the more black and white looking screen on the left, I think it's a little easier to see certain types of static than the color screen on the right. Now, I happen to have picked this frame, and you can see that like this is static on the right hand one, as the GoPro 7 showed, but it's just a little more apparent, I think, when it's this different color balance. And I was worried that this would unfairly advantage the module on the right. And here's the thing. What am I going to do? Science is always messy. If you go back to high school science class and you learned about the scientific method, right? And you did a write-up of a scientific experiment. One of the things you have to do is you have to write up your procedure and you write up your results, and then you talk about sources of error. You talk about all the things that you might have done that screwed up your experiment. And that's just an inherent part of doing science. And I had to make a decision as to whether this compromised the results to the point where I just needed to throw them out. And I said, well, no, I'm not going to do that. We're going to post the results. But we do have to, the individual, because my philosophy has always been present the data and then let you decide. And you, the individual, have to go, okay, I need to look really carefully at when these guys are dropping out and breaking up and make sure that I can feel like I can account for the difference in color between them. And if you go, I don't feel like I can do that, then you just got to ignore bye. You just got to, it's all entertainment from here on out as opposed to hard data. But I have looked at it and I feel like I can still make judgments about which one won, even in the case of the different color. And so that's what we're going to do. All right, so here we go. This is number 1, and let's play it forward. Oh, by the way, let me mute the music. Hang on. I had to put music over this one because I accidentally left the audio in this when I rendered it, and you could hear one of the modules responding. And so I muted it. There are a couple votes that may have been affected by that. But so here we go. Here's the first area where you're going to see some breakup is going behind the wall. And again, if you are in the Discord and there's about a 10-second disconnect between what you're seeing and what you're hearing, you'll have to maybe deal with that somehow, or maybe mute the Discord and listen to the stream. But here's where we're going to first start looking for breakup. Looks pretty consistent. Looks pretty close. Now it is interesting to look at the way, and I'll should I reveal which is which? Do you guys have a guess as to which is which? The left one, I think you're never going to guess, but the right one you might guess. Because the breakup pattern is pretty distinct here. Anybody got RapidFire? Yeah, you got it. Yeah. The right one here is RapidFire, and I'm going to actually I'll reveal the secret. The right one in all of these is RapidFire. And the reason I did that was in the first round of testing, RapidFire did so freaking good. And the problem is that if I were to do a full matrix, there's like 10 of these guys. So if I were to do a full matrix of every one against every other, I'd have to, and then you guys wouldn't want to vote on that many tests. So I said, okay, RapidFire did so freaking good in the last round. It was just the clear winner. I'm just going to run everybody else against RapidFire and see like if anybody can beat it and how they hold up. So the right one in all of these is RapidFire. The left one is still a mystery though. Okay, and we'll go ahead and reveal the results. In test number 1, it's really tight. It's just a lot of, so just to remind you guys, 3 means too close to call or no distinguishable difference. 2 and 4 mean either the left or the right edged out, but not like a domination. And 5 or 1 mean definitely no question that one won. That was pretty close. So then the only thing remaining is to reveal which module it was. Hang on, I have to pull that data up. Give me 1 second. The one on the left in test number 1 is TrueD. That was TrueD versus the RapidFire. So this, honestly, I would say this is pretty freaking good news for TrueD, because it kind of held its own. And I think a lot of people feel that the RapidFire edged it out, but a lot of people feel that that the TrueD was, better. So there you go. In the last testing I did, one of the arguments I made was that at the price point of ClearView module, like $300, ClearView had to just mop the floor with the rest of the field in order to really be worth considering. And when you could get a RapidFire for $140, if it's not slightly not as good as ClearView, then who cares? But actually, ClearView didn't do well in the last round of testing, and so that it was even more of kind of like, well, I guess don't buy it. And I think a lot of people would make the argument that if TrueD at $80 can come this close to RapidFire at $140, maybe TrueD is the one to get. Now, a lot of people out there who are RapidFire proponents are going to be going, oh, or something like that. And we have to say, this is just one test. They know that RapidFire did beat TrueD by a small margin in the last test. So, nevertheless, I really feel like there's actually a lot more margin in here than people seem to think. That, in any given test, you have to do a lot of tests to get an average of who won and who lost. So, here's the next one. Again, RapidFire on the right, as you know. All right. Here we go. So basically nothing to see here until I get into the stairwell. And then, whoa. Okay. Now I would normally try not to taint your perception by saying, oh, you know, which one I think is better. But in this test, the one on the left is so clearly bad compared to the RapidFire on the right. And you'll really see this as we go into the next stairwell. It's just terrible. So if we check the results, we can see that the internet also agreed. Number 5, 92% of people felt that that the right one was better. So before I reveal who this is, the manufacturer, the difference here was so distinct. I actually talked to the manufacturer of the left-hand model, and he said, "That's insane. Are you sure something isn't wrong?" And my first reaction was, "Great. This is what they always say when they lose. Something must be wrong." Then they accuse me of, but I said, okay, hang on, and he said, "Look, actually, I have 2 of these modules." One that I got a few months ago and used in the previous round of testing, and another one that I got recently and I used in this round of testing. And the truth is, I used the newer one because it had the most up-to-date firmware on it, and I was too lazy to update the firmware on the old one. And in the last round of testing, the old module did much better. So I actually tested these 2 modules, the old one and the new one, against each other just at my house, and the new one was way, 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 way worse. So it turns out that, so I'll tell you which module it is. The module on the left in this one is the OwlRC. And what OwlRC tells me is that they had a few modules get out that had a defect and performed really badly. And they're saying that this module that I got this one through Banggood. They're saying that the module I got through Banggood has a defect, and that's why it did so badly. I can tell you this. The new module that I got from Banggood did terrible, and you all agree too, as the test results show. The OwlRC module in the previous round of testing did it was tied for second with the TrueD. So I guess what I would say is, if you have an OwlRC and you're getting terrible range and you wonder what all the fuss is about, it might have a defect, and you should take that up with OwlRC. But in this round of testing, we have to set these results aside and say that they don't reflect the performance that the OwlRC is capable of. Here goes number 3. And what I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to do? You guys don't need, nothing happens during this early part anyway, except me sweating and running. Let's go here. All right, here we go. This is a tough one. That was tough. I thought I saw a little more breakup on the left, but I got to be careful, because, again, the right-hand breakup is sort of colored and is a little harder to see. I don't know. But then again, if the right-hand breakup is that, I can't tell how much of that is the RapidFire cleaning up the image versus the GoPro's color balance. Okay, anyway, we'll keep going. All right. To my eye, the left one is breaking up more. I think so. Yeah, like at that moment, like I'm not really seeing many moments, if anywhere. Here's where the truth will come out, though. Going back into the stairwell on floor 2. Okay. That's tough. That's tough. That is really tough. Wow. That is really tough. That is really tough. I feel like the RapidFire edges it, but only by a hair. Yeah. They're both kind of hanging on there. And as you might be able to tell, if you're... See, here I think the RapidFire is winning. I'm not saying that right-hand image is flyable, but there's something there, whereas on the left there's just almost nothing there. Anyway, let's see what the internet thought about who won. In test number 3, the internet thought, oh, the internet was way more decisive than I was. Almost no one thought the left-hand one won. These 5 people get your eyes checked. So the one on the left, the one that only 5 people thought won, it was the ClearView module. That was the ClearView module. Yeah, so the ClearView module, I didn't actually test the ClearView ground station in this test because of time and etc. The ClearView ground station did not win against the RapidFire in my previous round of testing, which actually shocked me because it just did. The ClearView ground station has just been the gold standard for performance, but votes are votes. And I tested the ClearView module in this one, which lost pretty handily to the RapidFire in the last round of testing, and it lost again. The ClearView module is, I don't know, I had such high hopes for it, but it just didn't come out and had problems, and now you can still buy it, but it just seems like it doesn't beat RapidFire in any test I've seen yet. So, there you go. Here we go. We're going on to the next one. Test number 4. Oh, hang on. Test number 4, please. All right. Here we go. And we'll skip to the stairwell again. I have to say, in that one, it almost looked like the left one. Going down those stairs, it almost looked like the left one. There was a moment where I kind of felt like, that's tough. Nah, I don't know. It's tough. I'm glad. I mean, I don't know how many times you guys went back and watched and rewatched and watched and rewatched. You could really stare at these for a long time trying to pick a winner, some of them. They're really close. I did have the opportunity to fly RapidFire in Legacy mode recently and was like, oh, I remember the white flashes. I hadn't noticed that the white flashes were gone. And because I've been flying, here we go again. This is the hardest part right here. Hold on. That's so tough. And now it's gone. That's pretty close. I gotta say, that's pretty close. In a moment like this, though, not this freeze frame exactly, but just this moment, you really can see the advantage of the RapidFire because the RapidFire does have a kind of usable image, whereas the flashing and blinking on the left really is a lot less flyable. You could almost fly this image on the RapidFire despite the fact that it's so broken up. If you were in a kind of a familiar environment and you had this image, you could almost get your quad back, maybe. I mean, you could see the horizon. And, you know, dark ground, bright sky. You could do it. All right.
Oh, yeah, I can see that window. I could make it to the window.
Exactly. Whereas the left-hand image, you'd be struggling a lot more. See,
Yeah.
the left-hand image just there. The left-hand image, you would have crashed right there, right? Hang on, go back. Right there, you're done. You're done. Whereas on the RapidFire, you could maybe you could struggle it through it. And that's the thing about the RapidFire is the consistency is there and makes it more flyable and recoverable when it's not glitching out, which it sometimes does. It's actually crazy. Okay, so now this is an interesting one. Let's look at the results first. Hold on. Number 4, test number 4, RapidFire won. Not as decisively as test number 1. And the reason test number 1 is relevant is that both of these, test number 1 and test number 4, was TrueD on the left. So RapidFire was kind of 50-50 with TrueD in the first one and definitely beat TrueD in the fourth one. So what's the difference? The difference is that in test number 1, TrueD had an Omni and a patch, and RapidFire had an Omni and a patch. And in test number 4, they both had 2 Omni antennas. Now, the reason I did that is because just scientific curiosity, right? Some people ask, well, does RapidFire do better with 2 Omnis or an Omni and a patch? Especially in a multipath heavy environment where, like this, maybe 2 Omnis is better. I actually need to go think about these results and dig into them a little more before I draw a conclusion. But we can see that with Omni and a patch, the TrueD was kind of even. And with 2 Omnis, the TrueD definitely lost. So, what? I don't know. What do you think the conclusion is? I guess if you have a TrueD, run Omni and a patch. Don't run 2 Omnis. But if you have a RapidFire, which is better? Well, I don't know the answer to that. Any thoughts about that, guys? Chad?
I have thoughts because I run both
Tell me.
configurations.
Tell me.
9 times out of 10, 2 Omnis on the RapidFire is better. If it is the rare situation where you're flying with a big open space distance-wise, and then some objects that you intend to go behind, like trees at the far end of the field,
Yeah.
the Omni and a patch is required. It's much better. But if you're just flying like around in a bando where you're going behind things, but they're mostly close, you're not combining distance and behind things. The double
2
Omni
Omnis.
seems to do better for me.
Yeah. I think what we could definitely take from this test is that the Trudy did worse with 2 Omnis. For sure, in this environment. All right, here we go. Test number 5. Going into the stairwell. Oh, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. The different character of the breakup on the traditional diversity modules versus the RapidFire is hard to quantify. All right, here coming into the second stairwell. Definitely seeing more breakup as we get just through this area on the left. Here we go. Oh. See, the screen roll on the left kills it for me. But the left is I think the left is doing a pretty good job hanging in there. Especially down here at the end where the signal is, oh, left winning. There's one moment of the test where the left is winning. RapidFire finally just lost its lock and went out. Whereas on the left, we kind of have image. Oh, wow. That's not, I mean, we got to give that one fragment of this run to the left one for sure. Now the right one's winning. So, which one was this one? First of all, let's show who the internet thought won in test number 5. Ooh, test number 5, really close. Now, I'm gonna tell you who this one was. This one again on the left was Trudy, and I'm a little confused here because both test 1 and test 5 are labeled Trudy v RapidFire Omni and Patch. I can't decide if I just forgot that I had already done that and did it again. I think that must be what happened. In test number 1, I did Trudy, and then test number 4, I did the 2 Omnis, and then in test number 5, I went, oh, if I'm going to do 2 Omnis, I got to do an Omni and a Patch. So test 5 is basically a repeat of test 1. And the results are the same. So that's good. That validates our results. With an Omni and a Patch, Trudy is pretty close in performance to RapidFire in these tests. With 2 Omnis, RapidFire cleans the floor with it. Hyper Q4, why the hell is Trudy getting so many tests? Because Trudy was tied for number 2 in the previous tests. And because, sorry about that, little screen switch there. And because Trudy is one of the most popular modules. That if you just look at who people are using, other than RapidFire, Trudy is very, very popular. And so I'm trying to test the results that'll be most relevant to most people. So when I decided I'm going to do 1 Omni and 1 Omni Patch, I did it with a Trudy. But other than that, Trudy, well, and I accidentally forgot that I did test 1 with Trudy. Other than that, everybody got only 1 test, I'm pretty sure. I'm just looking at my results. Yeah, everybody got only 1 test, except for Trudy. I did a duplicate test with Omni versus Omni Patch. So really, Trudy only got 1 more test than everybody else. Except it got 2 more because I forgot that I duplicated 1 by accident. That's the answer to your question. Okay. All right, here comes test number 6. Here we go. Let's skip ahead here to the stairwell. All right, here comes the stairwell. It's pretty close. And I should clarify, in case you guys are wondering, in all the other tests, I had identical antennas on both modules. So in this test, the left-hand module has Omni Patch because it's a traditional diversity, and that's usually how they're run. And so does the RapidFire. I know that some people think the RapidFire does better with Omni, and if that's the case, then here we go. Oh, left is doing pretty good. If you feel that RapidFire does better with Omni, then you would expect to see the RapidFire do even better in most of these tests because it's running with Omni Patch. And the hot damn, look at that. It does look like the traditional diversity, this is the second time we've seen this, that the traditional diversity is hanging in there on the left, whereas the RapidFire, when it finally loses sync, kind of just doesn't have anything to work with. Interesting. The only exception to what I was saying earlier is I ran the OwlRC test with 2 Omnis on both, because after the last tests, OwlRC said we should be tested with 2 Omnis, not with Omni and Patch. And so in order to, I tested them that way, even though I personally feel that OwlRC is a traditional diversity module and should be tested with Omni Patch. Okay, that's the end of that one. Let's look at the results for test number 6. What? Test number 6. RapidFire did not win. Yeah, the left looked really good in that one. Now, who was the left? Who was the left? It was LaForge. LaForge v4. Pretty impressive. And I'm pretty sure that that is the first time in this test that RapidFire lost. Yeah, everything else was a tie. So how about that? And I have to say, I'm a little bit happy to hear this because LaForge didn't, I think LaForge came in, let me just double check. I know that OwlRC and Trudy were tied for second place in my last round of testing. And then for third place, it was LaForge and Achilles. And LaForge has been, I've used LaForge for a long time. It's been like, I just kind of have a sentimental attachment to it. And I was happy to see it have a good result in this test. So, yay. Yay, LaForge. Test number 7 coming up. Here we go. Here I am running, panting. I was in some pain the next day from all this running. All right, here we go. Well, they both did pretty good. Yeah, both doing pretty good. Let's skip ahead slightly to the stairwell. Oh, we'll go back. Sorry, that was too far. Here we go to the stairwell. Oh, that was pretty close. Let's look at the super weak stuff at the end. How is it doing? How are they hanging? Both hanging in there pretty good. There, the RapidFire definitely dropped out there. We're consistently seeing the RapidFire. And by the way, it is in RapidFire mode 1. I mean, of course it is. We're consistently seeing sometimes at the very, very edge of the signal that the RapidFire loses image or rolls, and sometimes the traditional diversity module is able to hold on. Very interesting. This was a close one. Yeah, the left one definitely came back first in the stairwell. How about that? It's tough because you could pick any given frame and say, well, the left one came back first. But I'm not sure how you quantify the stability of the image. I think that's a little harder to quantify. And when you think about what you want to fly versus just picking a winner in the test, I'm not sure whether those are the same thing. But anyway, let's see what you thought the results were. In test number 7. What? Yes, in test number 7, it's a pretty definitive win for the left-hand module. How about that? And which one is the left-hand module? The left-hand module in test number 7 is the Achilles firmware running on Eachine Pro 58 module. How about that? $25 module running open source. I think it's actually costs 11 euros to buy the Pro version. Now this was with the Kerberos function turned on. And the Kerberos function means that the Achilles firmware will, in real time, kind of adjust the frequency by plus or minus 1 megahertz or so to try and hit the strongest signal. I don't know how useful that is in real life, but it was turned on. I tried to give every module its own signature advantage. So for example, in the LaForge module, LaForge has a new auto diversity algorithm in their latest firmware, where instead of you manually setting fast versus slow diversity, it adjusts the diversity switching in real time. So that was turned on. For the OwlRC module, they have a thing called insane mode, where they diversity switch way, way faster. That was turned on. And for the Achilles, the Kerberos function was turned on. And it won. How about that? HyperQ says, come on, there must be something wrong. I don't know. I mean, that's what the vendors always say when their module loses. So, you know, if we can find a flaw in the methodology, I don't know. But the real answer is that, you know, in the first round of testing, RapidFire definitely beat Achilles. In this round of testing, Achilles seems to have edged it out. It's one flight on one day in one environment. There's a lot more data you would need, but that, you know, the fact that you don't have all the data you could possibly want shouldn't mean that you don't gather data and look at it, and that's what I say. How about that? Stingy, you going to be switching to Achilles anytime soon?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that I would rather support LaForge or RapidFire. I think those are two solid options.
Yeah, it's true. LaForge has actually lowered their price. Let's be honest, they lowered their price since RapidFire became super popular. I think that LaForge used to come in around $110, maybe $100. I think it was a little bit more if you got the 3D printed or the injection molded covers. And I think that RapidFire at like $140 was putting some pressure on them. You can now get a LaForge V4 diversity module and main module for about, I think it's $80. So basically the same price as a TrueD. And I have to say, the interface on the LaForge is still my favorite. Even, I mean, RapidFire has the performance. I think it has the edge in performance. But even the interface on the LaForge is just the best out of all of them, in my opinion. And the fact that on the LaForge V4 you can have the full interface in the goggles, menus, everything. It's super nice. RapidFire has recently added the ability to have a channel scan and signal strength on each of the channels when you change channels in the goggle. And that's like the minimum I would like to see. But you still have to take the goggles off to do anything in the menus or anything like that. If I could have RapidFire performance with a LaForge interface, it would be dreamy, but of course that's just not possible. And UBAD has been such a staple. I mean, not that ImmersionRC hasn't been a staple, but UBAD has been such a staple in the hobby that to see them struggling a little bit definitely hit me. Yeah, so the fact that you can now get a LaForge for the price of a TrueD, I know a lot of people bought TrueD because it had the best price performance ratio. The fact that now you can get a LaForge set for the same price as a TrueD, if RapidFire didn't exist, I would take that all day long. So, what about the Achilles module from Furious FPV? Says Vampire 4997. So I haven't tested that. It wasn't in this round of testing. It wasn't available yet at the time that I did this. I would love to test it. Furious FPV has, obviously the TrueD module shows what they can do with their hardware. So the Achilles firmware is good. There's nobody really disputes that. So I think that that could be a really interesting module. The Eachine Pro 58 module is not exceptional really in terms of its RF performance. So, you know, the Achilles firmware is apparently a little bit exceptional. So, yeah, HyperQ4. TrueD is also coming out with the TrueD X module. Now, the TrueD X module is basically Furious FPV's take on RapidFire and ClearView. They're basically trying to do whatever that secret sauce unicorn magic is. And whether they pull it off, who knows? I mean, ClearView struggled to get that same technology into a module. RapidFire seems to have gotten it done. Although RapidFire, let's not forget, did have some performance and QC issues in their initial batches. So I'm eagerly waiting to test this new TrueD module and see how the results are. Vampire4997 asks, is it even possible for a TrueD to have OSD via firmware update? Having OSD in a module requires a hardware change. It requires hardware. So if the module was not designed to have an OSD to start with, it probably can't get one from a firmware update. In theory, somebody could have made a module with the hardware in place, but the firmware wasn't using it yet. But I don't think that's the case for TrueD. If you're looking for a module with an OSD, I think the TrueD Achilles, the Furious Achilles module must have OSD. Achilles does support OSD. There's also a module, the Real ACC Pro, the Real ACC 5808 Pro module has built-in OSD and is about $50. Test number 8. 2 more tests. Okay, let's go back and do it again. Okay, into the stairwell. The left one holds on pretty well. It does. Here it's tough to tell. I think the RapidFire does a better job of hiding the breakup in this type of area. Singy, do you ever have the experience of looking at a recording like this and going, it doesn't look that bad? I'm not talking about DVR, but like, I'm looking at this, which is just a screen recording. I'm like, where that breakup's not there when I'm flying.
Oh, yeah. Like, I just don't think about it when I fly.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it has to be
We're old
there,
pros, though.
Yeah. This is tough. I'm seeing some sort of vertical banding on the left side a couple times. That's just total breakup. Let's see who... Now here, the RapidFire is kind of breaking up at the weakest part. Seeing screen rolling on the left, which would just be a deal breaker, whereas the RapidFire on the right is holding on. To me, this area here... Oh! RapidFire screen rolling. This is a tough one. Everybody's gone now. Let's see who comes back first. That's very tough to call. This one's tough to call. This one is very tough to call. Let's see what you thought, Internet. What did the Internet think of test number 8? Ooh, that is a very, very slight edge for the RapidFire. Very slight edge, but a strong showing for the left-hand module. And who was the left-hand module? The left-hand module was the Skzyone Skyo 3. That's who it was. I'm impressed. In the last round of testing, where I wasn't in a multipath heavy environment, let's just check this. Let me make sure that I get this correct. I believe the Skzyone was near the last. Let's see. Oh, here's this nice table that I made. The Skzyone Skyo 3 went up against the LaForge. Yeah, there's a lot of composite results in here, and the LaForge definitely beat it. Yeah, the LaForge was in 3rd place, and the Skzyone Skyo 3 did worse than LaForge, so it's not placed, no, like 5th, 6th, 7th, but it is definitely not in the top 3. So in this test, did it beat LaForge? That's tough to say, but it definitely did. It had a strong showing and held its own. So how about that? Last one. Test 9. Here we go. If you're paying attention, you can guess who the left one is based on the only one that I haven't tested yet. But we'll go ahead and pretend we don't know. Not bad. Let's see how the second stairwell holds up. All right, coming back around here. Some people said that the shaking and jerking of me running made it hard for them to pick a winner because they were motion sick. Sorry about that, guys. All right, here we go. Into the second stairwell. I feel like I got to give that one to the RapidFire. Yeah, strong glitching on the left. RapidFire's definitely holding in better. Now they're both struggling. Now RapidFire's gone. Not bad on the left, but I think at the extremes, the RapidFire... Oh, RapidFire rolling on the right. Left one is solid. Right. Coming back. A little bit of... And here's where it's going to go entirely. Let's see who comes back first. Oh, I think RapidFire took that one. There were just enough times when the left one was rolling and glitching and the right one was solid. That one's pretty... I don't know if that's a 4 or a 5, but yeah, I think I'm with you, Double AMA. So, let's see what the internet said about that. In test number 9, the RapidFire was pretty definitively the winner. And the one on the left in test number 9 was the Aomway Commander V2. So there they are. There are the test results. Let's go back and let's just remind ourselves what happened here. Hang on, there we go. Test number 1, True D with Omni and Patch versus RapidFire with Omni and Patch. Kind of 50-50, very, very close. Test number 2, OwlRC versus RapidFire. The OwlRC module was determined to be defective. No, not just because OwlRC lost, and therefore we had to find an excuse. I tested the module against a second module I had, and it did way, way worse. I'm going to be throwing this module out. If you have an OwlRC module and your performance is terrible, OwlRC has acknowledged to me that there are some defective modules in a certain batch, and you should contact them and see if your module is defective. So test number 2 we're going to throw out. Test number 3, ClearView module versus RapidFire. Another nail in ClearView's coffin, unfortunately. Sad to see, but when ClearView said to me, when I first saw the ClearView module years ago, the ClearView ground station years ago, I said, you could get this into a module, this would be a killer product. And they said, can't do it. It's too big. Can't be done. And then sometime later, they came to me and said, guess what? We did it. And I was like, no way! And they were like, yeah, we did it. Well, it turns out they were right the first time. Can't be done. ClearView module. Sorry, RapidFire has taken it. Test number 4. Which was better? Test number 4. True D versus RapidFire, both with Omni antennas. 2 Omni antennas. RapidFire wins. Test number 5, RapidFire versus True D with an Omni and a Patch, a duplicate of the first test, and again, very, very close. So if you're using a True D and you're thinking maybe I should try 2 Omnis, these results do not support that. Test number 6, LaForge edges out RapidFire slightly. LaForge V4. Yay! And at a price of about $80, LaForge is very competitive. Although, did True D ever beat RapidFire? It didn't. True D was 50-50 at best against RapidFire. LaForge edged it out. So that means LaForge beat True D in this test. Whereas True D beat LaForge in the last test. LaForge is back, everybody. After the last test, some people were like, well, why would I buy LaForge? Trudy is cheaper and better. Well, it's no longer cheaper and it's no longer better, at least if you believe this round of testing, which clearly is definitive and is the results for all time, right? Yeah, no. Okay. Test number 7. Achilles Pro 58, Achilles firmware running on the eSheen Pro 58 module. Edged out RapidFire. Wow. And test number 8, Skzyone. Slight loss to RapidFire. Skzyone Skyo 3. Test number 9, Aomway Commander V2. Definitive loss against RapidFire. Okay. What are we? Are we still streaming? Can I have my head cam back? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what do you guys think of the results? Comments? Thoughts? Feedback? Stingy? What do you got?
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Who was that?
This is Double A.
Double A, what's up, man? What do you got?
I've been kind of hanging on to LaForge, but when the RapidFire come around, I was really interested in that. And a lot of test results show, and I lean on that side. But at the same time, now after seeing the results, I'm going back and asking myself the same question.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people who swear by, RapidFire. Before RapidFire came out, there were a lot of people who swore by LaForge, and some of that, we have to acknowledge that some of that is just, well, let's call it confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is where you believe something to be true, and then you kind of only see evidence that supports it, and you kind of downplay or don't remember or don't notice evidence that contradicts it. And especially with something like video reception, it's so subjective and iffy, and half the time it's subconscious, and you notice the one place where you always get breakup with one module but not with the other. But I think there's value, now I guess I'm tooting my own horn, I don't really mean to do that, but there's value in tests like this which take all of that subjectivity, take all of that bias and preference of, because you don't know which module is which, take out of it and let you just pick one and then find out what it is. One of the things I have come to believe after seeing the results of these tests is that there's not one module that is best in every single case. Like, I think it may be true that RapidFire is the best module in terms of RF performance today overall. If you were to do 1,000 tests, RapidFire would win more than anybody else. Maybe that's true. But it's not going to win every test. Sometimes a $25 eSheen Pro 58 module is going to beat it just because on that day it beats it. So so, you know, we just got to do a lot more testing. I don't know. Decode FPV says, surprised by Achilles. XRC Nova in the Twitch chat says, Achilles surprised me. Yeah, no kidding. Achilles definitely has its fans and its proponents. And it's interesting. In the last round of testing, Achilles came in third, basically kind of tied with LaForge. Another thing that we certainly should keep in mind is that the difference between the best and the worst, you know, it may not actually be that much. Like, in a side-by-side, you go, oh no, well that one clearly won. But it's not like you couldn't fly with the Achilles. And at a price of, you know, whatever, $25 for the eSheen Pro 58 module, it's certainly something to keep in mind. You know, it's certainly worth considering for the right buyer. I'd like to see Trudy and LaForge head-to-head again in a similar environment. Fat Pastor, I agree. I ran everybody against RapidFire because I felt like the #1 results were kind of definitive in that respect. You can bet your bottom dollar that in the next round of testing, I will take into account these results. And what I'm always going to be trying to do is look at the last round of results and do tests that will help us resolve tiebreakers, right? So in this round, LaForge beat RapidFire in one test. So maybe in the next round, we'll focus on LaForge, Trudy, and RapidFire. And I guess Skzyone. I don't know. I'll think about it. I wish I had the time and resources to do, 100 tests, but then have you guys vote on them. But you wouldn't want to vote on them, would you? It'd take too long. So